All set? Here we go. Welcome back to the second half, people. Train Pulver is ready to depart from Portsmouth. Yard master has blocked the train and placed it on departure track number one. So these cars are all set up. The first three are going to go to Tiverton, and the next three are going to go to interchange with Valley Branch lines. We've moved up to the end of the arrival track. Green over green tells you that the dispatcher has given you a highball all the way to Tiverton. Our first stop is at Tiverton. This is where Pulfer pulls in on the siding and looks over the way bells to see what you're going to handle. There could be an outbound car you have to pick up, and of course you have three that you're going to set. This is your choices in Tiverton. You have five industries here that this train works with: Deerfield Cement, Farmers Co-op, Bond and Whitcomb, Agricultural Implements, and Sweeney Brothers Trucking and Transfer. So these are the industries that you're looking to match up waybills for. Spotting the cars. Always pull the outbound cars to make room for the inbound cars to be spotted. There's a law of physics that says two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time, and you find this out really quick. The outbound cars be added to the train to head into the caboose. After the inbound car is spotted, you flip the way belt in its pocket. This will automatically set up the car's next outbound move. Put the new waybills in their correct pockets and pull the outbound waybills and put them in with the train waybills. Spotting an inbound car, this is pretty straightforward. This is a trailing point switch. This is where the offset method for the Katy couplers come in, very handy. This coupler is actually offset when the locomotive had it out here on the main. And he just slides it in here. The Farmers Co-op stops, backs out, car stays right where you put it. Put the bill, put it in the pocket, job is done. We move from Tiverton, which you can see in the far background over here, around to Franklin, which is about the midpoint of the Valley Junction Railroad. There's a team track. This is where this gray covered hopper is sitting. This train may or may not work with this car, depending on where its destination is. There's two locals that come from opposite ends. So if the car is destined for the far end to the left, this train will pick it up. If not, you'll keep it right there, won't touch it. This complemental way freight will pick it up if it's going to the other end to the right. Behind the yard tower right here is the yard for the Valley Branch lines where we're going to do our interchange. And here it is here. The branch line operator has designated an open track to set your outbounds in and your setouts on. And then here's designated and given off the handbills, waybills for the cars that he wants you to pick up because they're going in the correct direction where your train is going. So we finished our work at Tiverton, we finished the work at Franklin, and we've headed back now to our point of origin, which was at Portsmouth Yard. Before we got there, the yard master had already set up our route for us, so we'll pull in on arrival track one. We'll hand over the waybills that we picked up along our route and the crew instruction card. We hand the paperwork off to the yard master, our job is done. Now it's just time to report back to the crew quarters and wait for your next train assignment, which will come in about 5 or 6 minutes. I've been invited to an operating session. What should I do? I do this all the time. This is kind of social etiquette, if you will. Show up on time. A few minutes early is fine. In fact, it's preferable if you have not been here before. It gives you a way to ease in and get comfortable before the action begins. Don't come in late. It's not courteous. Other people, remember, there's 8 people here. They're all depending on everybody being here at the same time. Be respectful, particularly the host equipment. Yeah, everybody got 5 fingers. Be sure that where you put them doesn't damage anything. Don't bring an engine unless the host agrees in advance. Valley Junction Railroad locomotives, they are assigned to specific trains by their cab numbers. I don't need another locomotive. We have a matchup between trains and locomotives according to their rated horsepower and purpose and yada yada yada. Is if you let it know ahead of time, you want to bring your UP turbine, yeah, we could probably do something. Remove Valley Junction locomotives and puts the turbine in its place, that kind of thing. A friend of mine, one of my regular guys here, brought over a Challenger one night, and we ran just before the operating session, which is the best way of doing that. And yeah, I still had the scars on my rock castings over here in the staging yard from the pilot from the long wheelbase steam locomotive. So ask ahead of time, and we'll make arrangements. Ask first if you should bring something. Bring something that falls into many categories. No, I don't want you to bring a six pack of Budweiser. If we do something on a Saturday afternoon and we call for pizza, that's another story. More than happy. But this is an operating session, and there's a little bit of etiquette that we really like to stay in. Bring a box of cookies. Right? Everybody likes that. Do bring a radio, an apron. We have aprons here. We have radios here. Throttle. If you got an NCE throttle system, use NCE. You want to bring your own, that's fine. We have no problem with that. We just make sure the addresses are right. And then off you go. Do not set anything down on the scenery. We're all modelers. We all are creative. We like to build things. And when you build them, you like to have them stay there for some period of time. Uh, we all know as hosts that damage just comes with the territory. We all know this. And we expect to do maintenance from time to time. But, keep your wits about you. Keep your fingers where there's no telephone poles, that kind of stuff. So just be aware. Listen carefully to all instructions, helpful tips, and explanations. And that goes right along with ask questions, a lot of questions. Like I said, some of my crew have been here for 25 years or so. They're very proficient, they're very knowledgeable, and they love to play the role of mentor. So to make first timers experience here the best possible, ask questions. Right? These guys will slide right up alongside you and go, tell you what, did you think of doing this? And fill in the blank. And it makes the whole night for everybody much more pleasant. The host knows this is your first time at the layout. We know this. You're nervous. We're not. We've done this since 1994. So we also know you will make mistakes, and we will laugh at you, and you will learn from them, and we'll have a grand time. This is not something that you need to be beads of perspiration falling all over your brow. You're here to have fun, and we all know where you are. So ask questions, laugh, have a good time. On larger layouts, an op session is like a three-ring circus. It's far too much to take in on the first time. After the session, go home and sleep on it if you can, because you're going to recount everything that you saw or did for hours afterwards, and you'll probably toss and turn until day. Enjoy this aspect of the hobby. It's a game. That's what it is. You're here to have fun, meet a challenge, get the thing done, and have a whole lot of appreciation and a pride of accomplishment. All right, this is it. Let the fun begin. This is a typical operating session that was taken a few years ago. Two of these guys are professional railroaders. The one in the red shirt, Jamie Robinson, he just retired as road foreman of engines for Pan Am Railways. The one in the yellow shirt, Steve Belforti, he just retired as a dispatcher for Pan Am Railways. These are professionals that also have the same hobby as we do. And these are the kind of guys that love to mentor. They really do. The other two is Dave Sias. If you get an opportunity to see his layout up in Meredith, New Hampshire, by all means, take that in. It's downright gorgeous. Dick Lord, he's been here for 25 years with us, very much a part of our crew. And the ordeal is over. This is the last slide. Remember, always watch your signals. That's because the dispatcher gave you the clearance only to the next signal. Okay, that's it. You are now prepared to go to your first operating session and have a grand time. And that's it, guys. That's all she wrote.
All right. All right, Bruce. Thank you for your presentation. We do have, I know we're running a little bit over time, but we lost some time because of the technical difficulties. But I would like to ask one or two questions from the users or the people that are watching. Where can do people find out where they can operate? How do they find out about your layout to operate on it?
Well, it used to be you hang out on Saturday morning at your local hobby shop, but we all know where that went. So the second most important is you have a lot of operators come to op sessions because they know somebody that has invited them. That pretty much keeps you tight into a little community. It's one of those things you have to know somebody who knows somebody. Uh, a really a good way to do it is the Valley Junction Railroad is one of many that's going to be on the operating schedule for Mill City 2021. The theme of this particular NER convention is operating, and there's a lot of people and a lot of effort being put in that direction. These are golden opportunity. Sign up for an op session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pick two of them, pick three, it doesn't matter. And this is how you could slide into it. Some of the people that are giving presentations here on this NER convention have operated here. Some of them that are involved, I've seen slides from Dave Martini. I've operated on his layout. These are hosts, and they love to have people. So try the NMRA region route, NMRA divisions also have op sessions. If you can contact some of the officers in the local divisions, that put you in touch with people that they know. And uh, a lot of times, you get into conversations on that model railroad shows, and again, with our pandemic situation, that has been canceled for this year. But bump into people the Springfield show and strike up a conversation. And it's amazing the commonality that will come out between two strangers. And you go, oh, I'm an operator. I love to operate. Oh, I'll host it. Where are you from? That kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep. And there's also OPSIG out there that people can look up. OPSIG, the Special Interest Group for Operations. They can
Yep.
look for that and sign up for that.
A
One
lot of
last, go ahead.
the operating layouts I noticed are on the NMRA website too.
Yep. Yep. One last question. What is the most common mistake that new operators make?
To walk in the door and be afraid.
That's a good answer.
And I say that because we know, the established operating crew, like I just explained, we know this is your first time here. The mistake you're going to make is to come in and be, uh, I can't do this. This is too complicated, blah, blah, blah. Because when you come in for the very first time, that's John Doling, right? He's working on a chief dispatcher here with us. Even has a few more hours left to go on the dispatcher's board, and his work is done. But this first time here was, oh, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I do? Dispel that. We tell you right up front. 15 minutes. That's all it takes. You'll fumble around for 15 minutes, and then it's like this light bulb will come on over your head, and you'll say, "I get it," and that's a turning point. And from that point on, for the next 2 hours, you're having a grand time, and you're socializing with some really terrific people. You're having a good time. You're learning things, and you're experiencing this hobby for hopefully what it's all about.
Okay. Well, Bruce, stay on for a minute. What we're going to do is I'm going to introduce the next video, and you can stay on and talk to you when we go to the video. But first of all, what I'd like to do is thank you for helping beginning operators in our hobby. Our final layout tour is the South Shore Model Railway. The South Shore Model Railway Club is one of America's oldest model railroad clubs, having been founded in September 1938 in Quincy, Massachusetts. The club has been in its current location, a former 10,000 square foot U.S. Navy munitions warehouse in Hingham, Massachusetts, since 1998, with more than 60 active members and a railroad measuring 40 by 140 feet. The South Shore Model Railroad Club is also one of the largest in the country, both in physical size and membership. Please welcome Mike Dolan with his tour of the South Shore Model Railway Club.
Welcome to the South Shore Model Railway Club. Established in 1938 by a small group of guys in Quincy, Mass., they moved the layout from garage to garage several times in the following years. In 1953, the group acquired space in Weymouth to house the growing layout. After 39 years of leaking ceilings, a small fire, and no plumbing, the club was in search of a new home. One was offered by the town of Hingham, Mass., a 10,000 square foot former naval munitions warehouse. In 1992, the club agreed to the offer and the renovations began. In 1998, after 6 years of work and 45 years in existence, the members were ready to move to the new building. Our railroad is a theoretical link between Boston and Oswego, New York, with the route passing through Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The opportunity of this route exists for many varying industries and scenery. The layout is set in 1958 in the middle of the transition era. This allows our members to run a variety of equipment from that time period through current times. I'm going to walk around the club now prior to the cab ride so that we can view most of the scenery that has been completed. The engine facility here at Cedar Hill on the ECL has been detailed quite extensively and is functioning well. Background scenery, buildings and station for Cedar Hill area, the control board for Cedar Hill. Many of the items that you see here you will see in better detail as the cab ride goes, but some you will not be able to view. This is the steel mill area. From there, it heads into Highland Mills, which is a very detailed small town on the upper level of the club. Future expansion is always ongoing. We have a number of buildings and stuff that have been built here to fill in the edges of the layout. This is our narrow gauge section where the interchange is with the standard gauge. The waterfront area was extensively detailed, mimics a lot of what is found in our local area. We were fortunate to have one individual who did pretty much all of this work. The back side of Highland Mills, the area that was served by the narrow gauge. We then go over a viaduct overlooking Richmond Mills. This back section here is the future interchange with the new end of the layout that is in the planning stages right now. This crossing area here is the interchange with the Mountain Division. We head up under that bridge onto the Mountain Division, which we'll do during the cab ride. We're approaching Hudson Falls, the high bridge over Hudson Falls. This is an entire switching area that runs during every operation. You see the the detail on the buildings and everything that was accomplished in that area. From Hudson Falls, we're going to walk back towards the town of East Middleton. Many industries, waterfront. This is the yard at Middleton. This is the only section of the layout that was brought from the old club and integrated into this new layout that we have. Proceed now down into an area known as West Middleton. Each one of those areas has its own station, and the finely detailed work that was done up here. This back part of the layout is where the new area will extend to. We are leaving the area of West Middleton, heading towards Middleton, and then on to Hudson Falls. We're now heading past Middleton Yard and Middleton Station towards East Middleton. The tunnel we're going to enter is the approach to Hudson Falls. Through Hudson Falls, we'll head past the mountain interchange towards Richmond Mills. We welcome many fine-scale and finely detailed structures in this area. We're going to head through the tunnel and now heading towards Ruggles. Going to go past Ruggles Station, heading through another tunnel down to Bryantville. This is the city of Bryantville, named after a former member, Jack Bryant, who was also a member of the Tuskegee Airmen. All the construction was coordinated by Paul Bonanno. We're going to now head up into the Boston Yard. This is the Boston Yard, used extensively during operations for the origin departure and arrival of many of the freights that run on this division. You know, I'm going to head back towards West Middleton, through Middleton, East Middleton, Hudson Falls, and then up onto the Mountain Division. Now climbing the grade adjacent to Cedar Hill Yard, heading towards the steel mill. Now up in the steel mill area, heading toward Highland Mills. Coming under the local trolley line. across the viaduct towards White River Junction, and then heading back to High Line towards Hudson Falls. There's the farm country on this layout. Heading back towards West Middleton and the end of our cab ride. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of our layout. It's been a lot of work by a lot of people. All the members have contributed to the success that we've had. I hope that when this COVID situation is over and we begin to have open houses and train shows, that you'll find the time to come down and join us and enjoy this layout in person. Thanks for letting me show you around.
Well, it looks like that's a wrap for day 2. I do hope you enjoyed this evening as much as I have enjoyed hosting. We are at the halfway point of the NERx Virtual Convention, the 2020 Annual Convention of the Northeastern Region of the NMRA. Join us again tomorrow night for day 3 of NERx at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for more great clinics and layout tours with Jerry Covino as your host. Say good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Nice tie, Chuck.
Thank you.
Pete, you want to say good night?
We're still on. Good night.
One more time, Pete.
Yeah,
Good night, everybody.
how's everybody doing?
I said I would. So I have a
up for shadowing Jerry tomorrow and putting the questions in from the feeds?
Sure.
All I saw was reconnected. There was a screen in the beginning. Right to the YouTube side.
Speed is still playing.
What is?
Speed is still playing as the